anybody have any questions on the staging area, it's pretty straightforward. Take exit 131. You go on the north side of the freeway. If you turn, it kind of parallels and runs east, and then it'll turn and go north up the hill a little ways, probably quarter mile, half mile at the most. Right there is where the dispersed camping is. That's where I'll be. I'll have my, when I get there, I'll put my club flag up so everybody can find me, but it should be fairly easy to find. So, if anybody's just wanting to drive down for the day, on like Saturday, it's about a 3-hour drive from here. So, I mean, it's doable. I've done it. So, it's a good one. And we'll do Blackdragon on Saturday. So Friday's ride is kind of we'll decide how we want to do that. Like I said, I got several different options to go to do it. Also, the November ride will actually be before the club meeting, and it is the second Saturday of the month in November, not the 3rd, so, which is, I believe, the 8th and 9th.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the hotel rooms at Tickaboo are booked, so if you want to do that ride and you have not yet made reservations, you probably have to look at, I don't know if there's, I know they used to have rooms down right at Bullfrog. There used to be a little hotel there. Other than that, the closest one's going to be in Hanksville. I'm not real sure I'd want to stay in the hotel in Hanksville or not, but.
Did you say there's a restaurant in the hotel?
There was a restaurant there. I'm working. I'll find out what's going on. There's a gas station down the road that has food there. They have hamburgers and stuff like that there.
An $8 Oreo package. Do they have? Is there RV places?
There's an RV. The Tickaboo Lodge. There's an RV lot right at the lodge. So it's right adjacent to it. So if you want to bring an RV down and stay there, that's fine. Just be aware, one day we will be trailering. We have to trailer about 30 miles to the trailhead when we do Poison Spring. So that's why I opted to just stay at the motel, because when you got a toy hauler, it's not real easy just to throw your machine, load up and head down to the trailhead. So, but like you pull doubles, so it's not.
Yeah,
it's not
that
serious.
That trailer day is going to Saturday.
Yes.
You know about how far to drive?
It takes about 4.5 to 5 hours, depending on who's driving. It's an easy drive. If you've ever been to Bullfrog Marina at Lake Powell, that's the way you go. So, and the lodge is about 12 miles before you actually get to the marina. So, like I said, one day we're going to do Poison Springs. It's an absolute beautiful ride. I'm hoping to have Brett Stewart with us. He can take us and show us Butch Cassidy's signature in the rocks, where he carved his name in the rock there. That's the Butch Cassidy and their gangs. That was their hideouts, and that one of their main thoroughfares was through there. So there's a lot of history in that area. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, just remember that ride will actually be before the next club meeting. It'll be on the second Saturday. Last month we started taking nominations for board and president for the upcoming year. And again, we decided we've had just 5 board members for many years now, but we've decided the club has gotten big enough that we're going to raise it from 5 to 7 board members, plus the president and vice president. secretary, treasurer. That way it'd give us a better scope of who's, representation of everybody here. There's a lot of different responsibilities that are going to be shifted, so through the club. As most of you know, I've been the vice chair of the Utah OHV Association. Now I'm the chairman of the OHV Association, so which is good. I'm not going to lie, it's been a lame duck association. He's done nothing for a year, and I've got to focus a lot of my energies on reviving that, bringing it to the force that it should be. So just be aware, if you are a board member, that there are going to be some, responsibilities handed out, so I can focus on the main things that I need to focus on. So if we'll take more nominations tonight, and then in November we will hold the election. So I'm going to nominate Ray Dixon for the board.
I'll second. Rob Allen.
I'll second. You don't have to accept the nomination if you don't want to. Don't feel like you're being pressured into.
Well, we do have your addresses.
Thumb screws will be applied tonight.
Gene wanted to nominate Megan Hansen too.
Yeah, I guess we kind of seconded that through our meeting last night. So, any other nominations for board or secretary or anything? Who do we have right now for nominations for board members? Let's read through that real quick.
We have, so we've got Steve for president, Randy for vice, Melissa for secretary, Karen treasurer, Gary Pack, Kyle Carlson, Gene Markham, Danny Jaturka, Corey Skinner, Bill Zumwalt, Mark Ellison, Vicki Bradshaw, Larry Buffalo, and then these three, the Ray Dixon, Rob Allen, Megan Hansen.
Any other nominations? Okay. The club Christmas party. We're still trying to get it confirmed, so I'm not going to mention where.
No.
We haven't heard that place. No.
We haven't moved in 1 year.
Tentative date is December 8th, which is a Sunday. So just keep that in mind, that the Christmas party, that's the date we're shooting for. It may change, but it should be either the 1st or the 8th. So we're going to do something a little different this year that we haven't done. We're going to do a sub for Santa this year, but it's going to be for a retirement home. It's going to be for the Sarah Daff, retirement home. They have 36 residents there. They have like 12 that never have any visitors. So
Will's one of them. He's in the memory.
Will? Who?
What was that again? The name?
Sarah Daft, D-A-F-T. They're a 501c3 nonprofit. So we don't have a date set on when we're actually gonna, but they're gonna start getting us some lists of things that the residents there need or want. We've done, we've never done it for families before, but it's kind of like, seems like everybody does it for the kids, but we've got folks in retirement homes that never get any, so.
The Eagle Tree. On the Eagle
Where's the
Tree,
hole?
it had.
It's near Hobo Zoo, Subway Hill.
We always did one for each.
So many times, elders just get dumped there.
Yeah, they just get dumped and
Kids forget about them.
Or 5 Hobo Zoo.
It's near there, yeah. This is kind of closer to Westminster.
So, just be aware of that. I think it's a good thing for, the club to be involved in. A couple years ago, we partnered with UTV Utah and brought stuff up to the homeless shelter. Don't even go there.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a learning curve.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got that plan. A lot of you seen on Facebook my post about being part of the UTV Alliance group. This is a new group that's being formed. It's bringing a lot of user groups together, so we can, again, it's so everybody can focus their energies in the same direction. Right now, we've got splinter groups that are, this way and that way and the other way. And so we're not getting anything done. Nothing's happening because you got this little group that wants to do this and this little group that wants to do that. When you're small groups, nothing gets done. So the UTV Alliance group was started. The gentleman's name is Bruce Huntington, and I actually got involved with it because of Brett Stewart. And even though Brett Stewart's a good friend of mine, and we worked together a lot. We're the ones that got HB 82 passed in Salt Lake County. Got Salt Lake County opened up the street legal side by side. So we worked together on a lot of different things, and he kind of got me involved in this, and I think it's a good thing. The weight of the club is behind it, but actually myself and Randy and Jeff, Kyle will participate in it and bring information back to the club as we get. And this group, we're going to start, planning trail projects, cleanup projects, things like that. These guys want to be active, and that's the one thing when I become president of the club. That's the one challenge I made to every one of our members is to do one project a year. Be involved in one project a year. If we all get involved in one project a year, it all adds up. Because if we don't take care of our trails, nobody's going to take care of our trails. When our trails get in disarray, that's when they start being closed down. So, whether you do it as part of the club or you see a project with, we post projects all the time. If the Forest Service or BLM will have a project, and if you got time, go put in 8 hours or 4 hours, whatever you have time to do. That all comes back to us because for every hour that we put in volunteer, I think it's like $23.50 an hour. The state gets back grant money to go towards trail projects. So it benefits all of us if we do the volunteer project. So that's what the UTV Alliance group, and then it's going to deal a lot with legislation, with fighting to keep trails open. I think most of you seen the post about street legal ATVs and side-by-sides now being allowed in the national parks. Well, our good buddy John Curtis is trying to turn that the other way.
So a lot of the environmental groups are putting their forces behind it.
Yeah, and John, make no mistake, John Curtis and SUA are like this. He's the one that got Emery County, the swells, created as the largest wilderness area in the state. So he's not our friend. So this group will work to counter that. But in the meantime, one thing you can do right now, call all your legislators and state senators and tell them you support. And if you don't support it, great. Don't make the call. I'm not telling you what you have to do, but if you do support this, call your legislator and let them know you support it. Call Governor Herbert's office. Let them know you support this. Because if everybody is supporting it, then they will support it. John Curtis is going to go his own direction anyway.
I have a question about that. That's just on the roads, right? That's not like, we're not saying people are going to go turn off the trails.
And that's what.
But if you read the article one of the groups put out, they failed to mention that. They just mentioned off-road, tearing things up. They failed to mention that.
They paint the picture of where a road group is, of we're going to be tearing up and making all these trails. No, you're only allowed to go where a street legal vehicle is currently allowed to go. Now there are some backcountry roads that are open to cars, four-wheel drive pickups, dual sport motorcycles, but not us until now. So, yeah, until now, the street legal ATV was not allowed inside. Yellowstone's been allowing it for several years, but the representative for the national parks in Utah is an anti-ATV person, and it's over her dead body will these things be allowed. And she's still fighting, even though her boss said, no, you're going to allow them. So she's still trying to do her own thing. So if you support this, make some phone calls, send an email, whatever. The environmental groups are painting the picture that we're going to be going off, creating all these trails inside the parks. That's not what it is at all. And then they mention noise, Well, I hate to break it to them, but we're no noisier than a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Any of these Japanese imports that have been hopped up that got that 40-gallon garbage can for a muffler that you can hear for 2 states away. Buses, we're no noisier than any of them. So, but that's the picture that they paint of us. Oh, they have the capabilities to go off-road. We should never allow that. So do 4x4. So do dual sport motorcycles.
So Jeeps.
So, yeah, they all have that ability. It's just a
SUV, 4x4, all-wheel drive.
we pay the same
So
height.
does the Subaru.
That would be in the letter to your representative that said we're no different. Street legal.
Well, that's what
We're street legal for a reason.
That's how we got it open.
In fact, our emissions are probably lower than a V8.
Yeah.
Oh,
V8.
I can guarantee you our vehicles have lower emissions than any of them except for motorcycles.
We've noticed driving around, we come beside some of these smart cars and Bolts and stuff. They're smaller than my General. I was sitting by one the other day, a light, and you look over at him, his wheelbase was smaller than mine, and I'm going, why is he different than me? Other than I have four-wheel drive it, and he has to get out and push and pick up an engine.
So, again, we pay the same highway taxes that they do. Every time we buy a gallon of gas in our machine, we pay that highway tax in gas taxes. So
The big key is don't assume we don't need to fight. I mean, that's where it kills us. Because the way you read some of those articles, they're going to pull in a lot of no's by not getting the complete information. So if you sit idle by, then we're in trouble.
This is a tough question. These are federal representative or state?
John Curtis is federal.
These are.
Yeah, it's the federal. Our federal legislators are the ones that can affect this. Yeah,
They assume that, I think.
yeah. And John Curtis, again, I'm going to work damn hard to get him out of office. I'm tired of him. I'm tired of him wrong. But John Curtis, to me, is our biggest threat because he sides so much with SUA and what they're about, closing off trails and that. So, I mean, it was a great game for us, and then all of a sudden he's trying to go the other direction. He doesn't represent the state very well. He doesn't represent the people of the state at all. He represents himself and his special interest. So that's, you know, those are some of the things that the UTV Alliance group will fight. And there will be occasionally, because there's groups out of the state that are part of this, that we may end up, you know, trying to help them fight issues that they have going on in their state. There's a Wyoming group. I think there might be a group out of Idaho. This thing will expand eventually. But the biggest thing about it is it's a common voice for all of us to give everybody a common direction to work towards. There is, through the OHV Association, we're working on a grant that will help educate groups on how to best go about fighting to get trails, keep trails open or get new trails, how to do a NEPA, go about getting a NEPA study done for new trails. Trail systems don't happen overnight. They don't. They're a 10, 15 year process of getting trail systems open. So if you see something you want open, you have to start fighting now. A great example is Brett Stewart with the Badlands Trail System that's going to connect Duchesne County and Carbon County, in which we rode part of it for the October ride. He's been working on that trail system for 20 years. 20 years. He finally, in the last year, has gotten the approval to get it done. But part of the problem that you face when you're doing these trail systems, you have so many different land managing agencies that you have to work with. You have to work with state, you have to work with the Forest Service, and you have to work with the BLM. Working with the state's pretty easy for the most part. But you start working with the BLM and the Forest Service, and especially if you're working, if you've got a trail that's going through both, that's the biggest headache in the world. Because they don't like to work with each other. And every time, you know, Brett's had this system close to being done many, many times. And just about the time you're there, then they change the management. And you're right back to square one. You're just starting over. So this grant, it's being in conjunction with the Blue Ribbon Coalition. Spencer Gilbert is the one working with me on this, getting this grant, so we get these kinds of things done, educate people. And what we're really looking to do is eventually get a force of people. I don't know how Spencer does it. He puts in 90 hours a week, and he's behind. So by getting this grant through and getting this process and getting people educated, it helps him a lot, and it helps all of us. So So that's, that's kind of the different directions we're headed. And, some of the things that I've got going on. Does anybody have any questions on, thoughts on anything?
Okay, sorry to ask more questions. Do we have like, I know like, so a couple of the Jeep groups I used to be part of, they adopt trails with American Fork, they'll adopt a trail here, adopt a trail. I don't know if we have any.
We are, to an extent, yes. We are trail hosts in Wasatch Mountain State Park. But we can go further. Our group's getting big enough, we can probably adopt a trail somewhere. And we can adopt it even though we're trail hosts in Wasatch Mountain State Park. There's still trails in American Fork Canyon that we can adopt and help out. And they
We usually go up to like, repair fence posts that get was knocked down and go off trails that are going far.
more off-road was up there today.
Yes.
Doing some fencing project. So, yeah, that's, we can do that. We will plan some trail maintenance, cleanup projects. And again, the trail host, and I got to get a class put together so we can get people certified as trail hosts. You can go up at any time to Wasatch Mountain State Park and be a trail host up there. And all you're doing is you got a vest on, you ride around, people need, if they're lost, have a question, broke down. That's what we're there for, is to help people and educate people. We see somebody riding in an area that they're not supposed to be riding, you very graciously let them know.
Give them a map and say,
one thing we are not law enforcement. We don't pretend to be law enforcement. And if anybody ever gets belligerent, your personal safety comes first. You just get away from it, try to get a picture of them. And you'll always be working in pairs. Nobody can ever be when you're trail hosting. You're never there by yourself. You're always with somebody else. So the way to handle those situations, if you see somebody riding off road, off trail, and up there, the problem you run into is you got all these rental side by sides and that. For those that were up last weekend for the Hills for Heroes event, we had some people that were riding out of control. The majority of them were in rental vehicles. So they may not actually know, that they're off trail. So you try to educate them. And if you see that, you come up and talk to them. So one person, just casually take your cell phone and get a picture of the registration. If they, I think in most cases, people are going to say, sorry, I didn't realize I was, and they're going to comply and get back on trail. Some of them may become belligerent, and at that point, that's when when you're talking to them, the other person gets the, picture of the registration, license plate, and then we turn that into the state park or to the Forest Service, whoever the managing agency is, and let them do it.
What a great work position somebody might want to become the cat herder and work on trails and work on some of those things. It would be a great specialty if anybody had interest in that.
Yeah, I like to find out who left all the rocks in the trail last week. Randy,
I tried to clear them all out. So, but no, it's there's always, like I said, there's always things going on that you can be involved in, whether it's with our group or sometimes, there's other groups that put it out, Forest Service, But yeah, I challenge everybody, one project a year. That's all I ask for each person to do is one 4 to 8 hour project a year. It adds up. I mean, how many hours you guys got on the Shoshone system?
Well, last year we had close to 1,200. This year we probably got 600 so far.
These guys are part of WE, and they've been up signing the Shoshone system up there by Hardware Ranch. So now you can actually know which trail that you're on.
Except for one that I missed on. It doesn't go anywhere.
You just had to do that, didn't you? You probably did it on purpose. Watch this.
But you gave somebody a good adventure.
That's right. Okay, that's both someplace.
And what does PLEA stand for?
Public Lands Equal Access Alliance.
You're going to see a lot of these different groups, and really, we'll be working with them on different things. If they need help on something, they can reach out to us. That's what this alliance system is about. It's just helping each other, and that's what the OHB Association is supposed to be about. I'm going to get it there. If I can't get it there, then I'll fix it. But I haven't had the time to put into it this year because of the Ride for Life, Rules for Heroes, different things that's a lot of that stuff is being taken away from me, so I can focus on the things that I need to focus on. So we have a situation in Tooele County. Tooele County is the Jacob City Trail. We've got a landowner up there that's closed gates, put locked gates and that on publicly owned trails. And so hopefully this alliance and through these other programs, we can stop this kind of stuff from happening. This should have been done and over with 2 years ago, but Tooele County commissioners didn't take the stance that they should have taken right from the get-go, and now it's got to go to court.
One commissioner on his own about who the other two signed a thing with all that. That's how this all happened. Without knowledge of the others. So it's actually illegal.
And I think one of the problems too is that there's also people breaking the law, tearing down. So it's not helping, it's hurting. We need to, both sides need to approach it legally.
We have the same thing happen out on Stansbury Island. When I worked with him, there was 5 or 6 other landowners that couldn't get. I used to be friends with the guy that used to drink beer with me. And I says, John, wouldn't you rather have somebody that is law-abiding out there if they because I called him one day, there was some kids in Salt Lake Valley out there and they were shooting cows. So I called him, let him know. He thanked me, and a year later he charges me with trespass when I was out on Chucker.
No good deed.
You do know the chuckers aren't the big ones with 4 feet.
I know what a chucker is. And I like them better than turkey, so I know what that is.
I know what a chucker is, pure hell.
Yeah.
I've chased a lot of them.
Do you know anything about this state? When I got back from vacation, I drove up the street in Fulham, and I thought they put strips of asphalt, they just painted green marks. And it's in the center of the lane. It's supposed to be bicycle. And so I went to the city and said, what the heck are you doing? The state is the one that's doing it. It's not even on a state road, it's on city roads.
They're doing it all over.
But they said that when you start charging bicycles, registration.
Good, go on.
And if they're going to do that, if they're going to be on our public roads, they put bicycle lanes off to the side where it goes past the schools, the high school, and there's a charter school, and that's where they're doing it. So when people are dropping off, picking up from school, like, cars are parking up, some bikes can go over into the lane of traffic. And you can't pass them, so if he's going 200 miles an hour, you have to follow him. I said, well, they're going to start registering the bicycle. And I know when I bought one 30 years ago, I bought it in West Valley, and I had to register, even though I lived in Florida.
I know a I don't know if Brent Stewart's behind this or not, but it could be, because we haven't talked about doing that, because, yeah, they've been putting in all these bicycle lanes and parks and this and that. Most guys aren't paying a dime for them, it's us, we're paying for them, so.
And the passengers are money.
That's what I brought up with the Fuller County Trails Committee. The people, horses, the questions are trying to take over all this. I says, what pays to build and maintain those trails? Well, ATVs, off-road vehicles. Well, then how can the horses put, I haven't seen a registration sticker on a saddle. And, you know, I've owned horses, I grew up.
Yeah.
But, you know, if they're gonna take over, then they need to register their horse in their saddle. And I know that committee, they're a 7-man committee, and at the first year, they're losing 5 people, so I put in an application for that. Because the people that are still there are pushing for equestrian and mountain bikes, hiking only.
Then they can pay for them.
But I think we pay for those trails and maintain them, yet getting pushed off.
And I want to be starting to volunteer. Harriman's putting together an OHV committee to try and figure out if they figured out that there's enough interest in an OHV trail system up in the hills from Harriman. But I don't know what to do if anybody's got
There's a
ideas
group
or
that
suggestions.
started it in Love.
There's citizens for Harriman OHV trails, like the believe.
Well, Harriman, the city of Harriman now has a exploratory committee formed.
Yes. Yeah,
I don't know what
they
it's called.
had a trails committee. And the woman was a mountain biker, and she said absolutely never will there be an OHV trail in Harriman.
Well, I went to the Harriman Trails Committee, and as a thinking it was going to involve the OHV trails, and I quickly learned I wasn't even going to open my mouth and mention.
This is a great.
I was going to get lynched.
And while Mike is talking, I'd like to nominate him for the board member. Seconds.
Third, fourth, fifth.
Michael Rourke.
Is that just because I Michael Rourke? Yes, Michael Rourke.
You got that, Elise?
What'd you call me?
Alyssa,
Citizens for OHV.
And they went to this meeting.
We should.
This is anti.
My
For the
niece
first
and her
couple
husband
years,
were
yeah.
able to go trail side by side from South Jordan over Butterfield in Kansas. We seen them do this, me and my wife were at dinner at Jim's out in Willis, like a couple of weeks ago. And we were sitting there, and my niece and her husband and our neighbors come. And I said, what do you guys do? Oh, we just rode the side by side over Butterfield. Come out, we're out there for dinner.
Yeah. And I know several people ride over Butterfield and over to Jacob City and then back. But Tooele County then put this toll booth in there.
Didn't somebody rip it down, or was that?
Yeah, they think somebody ripped it down.
Expertly ripped it down.
Yeah.
With a torch,
Yeah.
heavy torch.
That didn't.
Second day was up. And it's back there.
The one thing we have to remember, when we have these trail closures and that, even though we don't like them, we have to let the process take its course, because if people go up and start ripping down gates, it only adds fuel to it.
Dave Brown is the one that's in charge of that, and he is over the trails. So part of that money, and they said the first day, or well, maybe it wasn't the first day, but 2 Saturdays ago, they sold 152 passes for $3 on one day. So, and I know part of that money, I don't know how much, goes back to the Trails Committee, the county parks.
And I can deal with that. Here's my problem. If you're over there and you come back and it's after 6 o'clock, now what is it, $15? Because they say you're gonna, if you're going up there this late, you're gonna be camping, so it's like $15. Well, shit, I'm trying to get back home.
without going on tour.
I think they would probably understand that, showing the driver by a proof of where you live. And saying,
They have their enforcement. And then they close the gate at 10 o'clock, or 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so if it's past hours, you can't even.
If you want to go over there in the summertime and take a nice cruise in the evening up around and come back, and it's after 10 o'clock, the only way you're getting home is to go all the way out through Eagle Mountain back.
Look at how well the Alpine Loop runs. You don't have to pay, as long as you don't get off the road. There's ways to manage it without getting out of control.
So, these are all things that we have to look at and
They
reach
did
out.
settlement 10 years ago. The reason I said they did this is because we had 30 homeless living there. I mean,
This has nothing to do with OHV.
well, no, we go up to the campgrounds and there's agreement meters and there's whiskey bottles and we're all.
I just
Well,
think
part of that's going to
I think
clean
a
up.
lot of times government tries to manage a situation the wrong way. And it's like if there's drug use and
We see
there's
that every
homeless
day.
and all that, well, guess what?
The
Let's
sheriff
sweep
needs
them
to
out.
be up there
Yeah,
instead of
they
down
need to
at
do
the
their
building.
job, as opposed to
I
charging fees for the OHV.
I don't know, and again, we'll reach out to Willow County and try to find a remedy to this situation. I would like to see it that side-by-sides and ATVs don't get charged at all, because we're already paying for the trail system. So, the people with cars and that, they're not paying for anything, so I have no problem. But that's something we can look at, discuss. There's been a lot of hurt feelings and words said between different groups and that, so it's all just work. It's just communication between groups. So. Anybody have any questions on the ride this weekend or the Tickadoo ride?
Steve, before you get into that, radio communications.
Oh,
You want to bring that up now, or you want to wait till November?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
for,
Table it.
well,
Now that you said something.
I'll just get on it real quick. Because of the new rules, well, they're not really new rules, but they're enforcing certain parts. The FCC is enforcing some of the rules that the radios we use are most of them are 5-watt radios, and the FRS channels are only designed to be a 2-watt radio.
Maximum 2 watts.
2
Yeah,
watt.
maximum 2.
So, we've been using these radios on there, and it hasn't been enforced. Well, now they're going to enforce it. So we have to we're looking at different ways of how we can address and still have our radios to use. Mark has talked about putting a class together so people can get their technician license, ham radio, and then we're allowed to use a lot of different frequencies. One of the things you can do, we have the GMRS stations programmed into our radios. If you so choose, you can purchase a GMRS license. I think it's $70 a year. Something.
Good for 10 years.
Oh, for 10 years. So,
Are all the frequencies on those all 5 watt? Is it based on the radio frequency, or is it based on the radio, or is it based on the
Capability of the radio. It's
But what we're trying to do, we talked about it in board meeting last night, is we're going to put together a solution, and then we'll talk to everybody about the solution.
There was one person on the ride. There was one person on the ride with one FRS. The Heroes for Heroes that had 65 watts on FRS. That meant that
Everybody here.
okay, anybody wanted to.
There's so many different frequencies and so many different people with the cell phones. I know when I was still part of the search and rescue for we'd be driving and you could hear cell phone conversations over our radio, 800 megahertz. Pretty soon you can hear music. It's nuts.
And we went on one ride 2 years ago when we were just using some random frequencies, and we were going along the mountain, and all of a sudden I picked up, because I had a bigger radio, I was receiving on the same frequency, we were saddle backing with the EMS, ambulance, and fire department of the local city.
Yeah, that's when we first got the radios. I remember
Yeah.
you talking about that.
Yeah, and that was really risky, because those guys real loud. And then there was some BYU frequencies we were using, which are statewide. BYU has them all in the state. So, you know, it's been a problem with frequencies.
Right, but before we go off multiple
Yeah, I think
directions
you're right.
and rumors and speculation, and let's understand what we're doing before we really get people talking about it.
Yeah, don't panic yet, because
So that's why let's get a good.
The chances of us getting hammered, but if somebody asks you, hey, you know, those are illegal to use, said, well, yeah, we know they're illegal, but we're using them anyway. You know,
Or yeah, it was on Ryan, so it was right on EMS. Let's not spread a lot of things.
yeah, one of the things you got to remember about the FRS frequencies when we're up in the canyons and that is line of sight. The mountains are your barrier. You're in a bowl, and if they're on the other side of the mountain, they're not going to hear you. So the only people that are going to hear you are the ones that are within that bowl. In fact, we experience that when our string gets spread out, we go around a corner, and you lose the front part of the route. They can't hear you. So, you know, we don't need to panic about it. There's nothing to panic about it. Just something we need to address.
Yeah, those. I've been doing a lot of research that, and I've read both sides of the FRS or the FCC rules and regulations on that. I've got some information from the FCC legal counsel, and it's still up in the air right now. The FCC's made some statements that are being challenged right now by several ham radio groups. A lot of the manufacturers are challenging them right now and saying, what in San Antonio are you guys talking about? Right now, with us riding as far away we are from everybody else, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
The FCC's not going to come and bang on your door and take away your dog and your cat. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to get a letter.
What about kids?
A kid, yeah, if you want to give them the kids, you can do that.
All right.
All your first one.
Yeah, it's not, it's like you're saying, it's not something, we don't have to live in fear because the FCC,
No.
first of all, there's only two FCC people in Utah, and they're in Ogden. And
Well,
I mean,
that's why
right, okay.
somebody would have to complain about our use
Yeah,
of it,
so-
and they're not gonna
But
do
that's
that.
why we need to not get into discussions
Right.
and not really throw out ideas till we decide what we need.
Yeah, we
Right.
just, we
Yeah.
just
There are a lot
want
of
to,
people that will repeat them and have no idea what they're repeating.
yeah, so the best thing to say right now is we need to address it so the group is legal.
and that was one reason why when we were going into winter, I came over the radio and said, okay, let's cut the chatter to necessary radio traffic only. Okay. I'm one of those guys that runs 65 watts.
Yeah, but you're licensed.
Well, not for
Well,
FRS.
not for, well, I was running 100 watts, so,
Well,
on FRS. But I
anyway.
did have it turned down to 25 watts.
So we're,
But again, before we get everybody confused,
Yeah, I
we
wouldn't
need
understand any
to
of
talk
it.
about what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And we will let the club know
Yeah.
what we're gonna do instead of causing a lot of discussion
So,
yeah.
that may or may not be relevant to everybody.
Just remember, womp, 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 womp.
so we're gonna for right now we're gonna be fine. Like I said, it's line of sight for those communications before you know. So I wouldn't worry about it for right now.
Yeah, let's do our drawing. We can get out of here. Our room raffle ticket is 883-860. You are the winner.
Wiener,
He doesn't get it, she went to the
wiener.
bathroom.